Okay, so I just quickly wanted to talk about the familiar and a life of avoidance. So often when we're in the familiar, even if it's uncomfortable, we like to stay there because it's familiar. And when it's familiar, we know who we are, we know how we respond, we have a sense of self. The moment we step out of the familiar into the unfamiliar, it's scary. Because we don't know who we are in that situation. So for example, if being busy is familiar, you don't like it, but that's your habit, your routine, you just keep yourself busy. And even though you might complain about being busy, it's familiar. And you'll find that unconsciously, the moment things are not so busy, you'll create busyness because it's familiar. However, when we stay in that pattern until we recognise that we create the environment that is familiar, uncomfortably familiar, but familiar, and we see that actually what we're avoiding is becoming. We're avoiding life. So it's very easy to live a life of avoidance, because when we step out of the familiar, it's uncomfortable for a while until we figure out, who am I? Who am I when these things are different? And sometimes we get propelled into the unfamiliar. Sometimes life circumstances occur and all of a sudden we have to find our feet in the discomforts. But generally, in our day-to-day lives, we have the decision. We have the decision whether we stay repeating the same familiar things, even though we don't like it, and avoid the potential, all that we could be, or we take that step to not avoid feeling uncomfortable, to step out of the familiar and allow the unfamiliar to be comfortable. And then life takes on a different meaning, a life of abundance. So in avoiding feeling uncomfortable, we avoid life. And when we're prepared to feel uncomfortable and see that actually it's just a sensation and it's just where the mind is at, it's not true, then we start to really be able to embrace life. Okay, so just a little bit of something to share. Thanks.